write emails, putting affiliate offers without sounding salesy or inauthentic? That's a question I get a lot. Now, today, I want to share 3 tips for writing affiliate emails that are authentic to you and actually get results. And one of the biggest challenges that people face when they're promoting affiliate offers is that they feel like they're being authentic to themselves and to their tribe. They feel like that by promoting an affiliate offer, they are somehow being salesy, or they're selling out, or they're inconveniencing their audience. Nothing could be further from the truth if you're doing it the right way. Now, before I share those 3 tips, there's a couple of questions that you need to ask yourself, and I'm going to share those in a moment. But first, welcome to everyone who's on live, and to everyone who, well, if you're watching this in the future, welcome as well. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Matt McWilliams, and I'm joined today by my co-host, Mark Sieverkrop. Mark, this is a topic that we get asked about this a lot.
A ton.
It's how to sell without being salesy. So welcome to everyone. Now, if you were on, drop us a comment. Let us know where you're joining us from. And we encourage you to ask, hey, Phil, ask a lot of questions. Let me pull up the comments here.
Do you want them to be on point questions, or can they be any questions whatsoever?
You know what? I would like them to be on point. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just making sure.
If you've got questions about what we're talking about, if you got a question about today's topic about how to sell without being salesy, how to be authentic when you're selling, this is a part of our ultimate guide to monetizing a small email list. And so one of the things that's very common amongst people who have smaller email lists is because they have less experience selling in email, they really worry about that. They worry about authenticity. They worry about being, salesy. They worry about not being true to themselves and true to their tribe. And so we really want to help you with that today. You can find that ultimate guide, the ultimate guide to monetizing a small email list. Go to mattmcwilliams.com/small. Hey, Michael. Or if you want to get notified, because we're going to be updating this throughout the month of March, about almost a third of the way through, I guess. Go to mattmcwilliams.com/UG, mattmcwilliams.com/UG, and we will send you an update, a messenger update, every time that we add something to this ultimate guide. So we're only about a third of the way through today. We've still got a lot to add to this ultimate guide. We'll share some of what's coming up soon. Hey, Tom, we'll share some of that coming up here soon. But comment, we're going to ask you throughout this, let us know your thoughts about what we're talking about. If there's something, a question that comes up, let us know what questions you have about what we're talking about, and we will answer that either as we go. Mark has permission to interrupt me and ask any questions, or at the end. We'll answer questions at the end as well. Now, before we get started, let me ask you a question, and let us know in the comments. Are you afraid of being salesy? We'll call it salesy, actually. Are you afraid of being salesy? Type yes or no in the comments and let me know whether or not you're afraid of being salesy. And let me pull up the feed here. I just realized I don't have the feed pulled up.
What about being smarmy? If they're afraid of being smarmy, can we also
smarmy? I laugh because we have a former client, Jeff Goins, that was like his.
That was his word. That was his
buzzword, if you will. Yeah. Was smarmy. He would always say that. So, yeah, Tom is afraid of being salesy. Gwen, Phil asks, in regards to salesy, is there a limit to how many times you send different affiliate offers to the same person? Ooh, now that's a very micro question. It's a very micro question. We're actually going to cover that in the ultimate guide, Phil. And when I say it's a micro question, when you say same person, really what you mean is, if you have 1,000 people or 500 people or 100 people on your list, and these 30 people and these 40 people, you don't usually mean individuals. There is a limit. And there is a limit in a sense of you wouldn't send the exact same offer every month to the same group of people. But to let somebody know every year about a particular product, totally cool. to let somebody know when there's a discount on a product and you were to say promote a special offer on that product, quarterly, if there were a flash sale going on or something. That's totally cool as well. That's totally cool as well. I love Phil's answer. How about yes and no? And I know Phil, I've seen him, and we'll talk about this as we go along. Phil's really active in this group. It's called the Secrets of Successful Selling. It's a new Facebook group from the folks at Ziegler and Kevin Harrington and our friend Mark Tim, who we had on last Friday. And Phil has been blowing that group up in a good way. And I will just say, Phil, I got a text last night from the guys who run that, and they were just thanking me for referring you to them, because you've been a real asset to that group, and which is just awesome to see, Phil. So great job on that.
Oh,
so those questions, I said I had 2 questions before we get into the 3 the 3 points that we want to make today about how to sell without being salesy. And question number 1 for you, this is a mindset shift, is what's wrong with being salesy? Like, think about that. What's wrong with being salesy? Now, I know what you mean when you say, for those of you who said, yes, you struggle with being, I'm pulling something up. I want to share a picture with you guys. You struggle with being salesy. I know what you mean when you say you don't want to be salesy. And I receive a lot of emails like that. We mentioned surveying your audience last week. And one of the most common things that we got in the survey that we did of my audience was they don't want to be salesy or sleazy. Nobody said smarmy. There's nothing wrong with being salesy. Just don't be this guy. I don't know if you guys can see that there. Mark, is that showing up well enough, or is the light just killing it? Don't be this guy.
See it.
Yeah.
See
you can see it?
A little bit.
All right. Well, he's got the burgundy coat and the way open collar. Actually, I just realized, he's got a little bit, he's low on the hair. And it's slicked back, got a cigarette in his mouth. And he's like, yeah, he's kind of like he's like a really sleazy Fonzie. Hey, you're thinking of a used car salesman. You're thinking of, if you guys remember the Sham Wow commercials, that's who
love that commercial.
But there's nothing inherently wrong with selling if you're selling good stuff and you're selling it the right way. So as we go back to our first rule of affiliate marketing is don't promote crap. Don't promote crap. If you're promoting good products, there's nothing wrong. I've said it before, and I wholeheartedly believe it, that selling affiliate offers is one of the best ways to serve your audience. I mentioned that Secrets of Successful Selling Facebook group that Phil's really active in, and it's this free Facebook group as a part of the Secrets of Closing the Secrets of Closing the Sale masterclass with Kevin Harrington and Mark Tim and the Zig Ziglar group. And there was a comment in there. They asked, what was your biggest takeaway from the video series that they just started? And if you want to check this out, go to, Mark, what's the URL to grab? Go take their assessment, mattmcwilliams.com/entrepreneur type. You'll take their assessment. You'll find out what type of entrepreneur you are. And then that will take you into their video series on selling, which you're going to blow you away. Like, I've heard so many good things. I know Phil mentioned he like binge watched it last night and was just blown away. And they asked the group, and there's 5,000 people in there, said, name your biggest takeaway in 3 words, not 4, not 2, 3 words. And one of them wrote this: sell means serve. Sell means serve. And if you ask Kevin Harrington, if you ask Zig Ziglar, if you ask anyone who's successful at selling, they will tell you that sell means serve. If you agree with that, as a matter of fact, let's make a declaration in the comments. Sell means serve. Type it, all caps. Share this with your friends so they get it across. Like, we'd love if you would share this while we're on live. Go share it on your timeline, on your page, whatever, and tell them sell means serve. Because I guarantee you, some of your friends are thinking, I don't want to be salesy. They think of that guy, the guy going like that with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. That's what they think of. I wish there was a button where you could like something 38 times, because I would have liked that phrase. I'm going to like Michael's here. Yeah, they actually said the Norwegian word for sell is to serve, Phil said. And I love that. It's so true. So if you have a bad taste in your mouth when it comes to the word selling, now is the time to overcome that perception and understand that selling can be a good thing. Actually, it can even help your audience when you do it the right way and with the right products. So again, goes back to that, what I said, don't promote crap. Number one rule of affiliate marketing. If you promote crap, well, you're not serving your audience by default. And here's the thing I found. When you promote, if you've been there, if you've ever done this, where you promoted a product and you were like, I'm just not sure that this product is right for my audience. Then you had a hard time promoting it. I've made that mistake. I made that mistake before where I was just like, I don't know, man. I'm not sure about this product. And then I started promoting it and the promotion went terribly and I had to back off and then I realized afterward, I'm like, duh, why don't I practice what I teach? Why don't I actually do what I tell people? Don't promote crap. In fact, only promote the best. And so if you do that, you'll have no problem with selling. My second question is, have you trained your audience to expect the wrong thing? And what I mean by that is if you're worried that selling an affiliate offer will come across as inauthentic, or your audience will think that you're selling out. I feel like every time I do that, I'm like selling out. I feel like Chris Farley on SNL. Yeah. Because
Use
I don't own a
deodorant.
toothbrush, or because I eat my own dandruff, because I don't bathe properly, because I scare little children.
Oh, Chris Farley, may he rest in peace.
I miss that guy so
I
much.
do
Every
too.
day I miss
Oh,
that guy. Oh my gosh,
yeah.
he was amazing. But I love that. What was Bennett Brower was his name on Weekend Update, and he would come on. He would like, how am I? It's because because I don't own a toothbrush. I just and he used the quotes improperly. But no, I mean seriously, inauthentic or selling out. If you feel that way, you might have trained your audience to expect the wrong thing. So I want to know about you. Get ready to share in the comments. Have you trained your audience to expect only free content? Have you trained them to never expect you to sell them anything? If that's the case, share in the comments. How have you trained your audience? How have you trained your audience? And I love what Mark says. Mark, I think you and I were on a phone call one day, and we were talking about this topic, and you just said that you said this to me just privately, and I was like, whoa, say that again. And like anytime, when somebody asks you to say something exactly the same, you're like, I think I said this,
That
it just kind of came out of my mouth. But I remember word for word, because I've quoted it so many times. One way or another, you are conditioning your audience. One way or another, you are conditioning your audience. If you try to build your following, you try to grow your business, you try to make money, and then you have to condition your audience to click and buy, not just expect free content. Well, it's hard. If you do all those things, if you keep, you keep building a list, you keep giving them amazing content, you can have the best content in the world. But if you're not conditioning them to actually expect to have audience, to have offers made to them, it's going to be hard to ever sell anything to them. Like Tanya says, I have trained my audience to expect just content. Well, we'll fix that. We're going to fix that, Tanya. I've said it over and over again. If you say you are running an online business, you have to also say, and you have to believe that businesses make money, and that's actually inherently a good thing. I love that Walmart makes money, because it means that Walmart stays open. And when I need something at 11 o'clock at night, we were talking about this morning. We were at the pediatric neurologist this morning for our daughter, and she's the only game in town. And there were people from like all over the region, like other states, because it's like, if you live in Northwestern Ohio, there are no pediatric neurologists near you, except for Fort Wayne. And we were commenting how we really I don't know if I could live in an area where you had to drive 100 miles to see a pediatric neurologist or to go to Walmart or to whatever. And I'm like, I don't want to have to drive 100 miles to go to PF Chang's. I like it too much, or Costco, whatever it was. And we were talking about that. And the point was that we're really thankful that these places make money and get to stay open here. And so we love supporting places that are nearby because, sometimes at 11 o'clock at night, we realize, oh crap, we don't have anything for our child who is screaming his head off because he has an earache or something. And we need we need Tylenol. That happens every now and again. And if you don't have a store nearby, you can't do it. So I'm glad that they make money. I would pay them $100 for that Tylenol in that moment without hesitating. So if you realize that you have conditioned your audience to expect you to never sell anything to them, Tanya, don't worry, you can fix it. In next week's Facebook Live, we're going 1 week from today, but we're back at 2 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken, Mark. Actually, no, it's next Friday. Next Friday.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Because next week, I have the pleasure, I will be at what is arguably my favorite place on the face of the earth outside of Anna Maria Island, Florida. A place called Blackberry Farm in Tennessee, and I'll be hanging out with Michael Hyatt and Jeff Walker, and Pat Flynn was supposed to be there, but he can't because of social media marketing world, and I'm totally devastated, but we're going to be hanging out together. It's this amazing place, and hopefully we get good weather. So next week's Facebook Live is actually on Friday at some time that Mark will drop in the chat. I believe it's 2 o'clock. And we're looking it up. What's that?
I'm looking it up.
Okay. We're going to talk about how to condition your audience to click. But for now, just tell yourself, as I see Tanya, yes. Tell yourself that you run an online business and businesses make money. So type that in the comments. I run an online business and businesses make money. Some of our long-term, fans have typed that many times, and that's okay. I get reminded of that all the time. Every time I encourage you to type, I run an online business and businesses make money, it reminds me that I run an online business and businesses make money. It reminds me of that. So then you start conditioning, or in the case of Tanya, you have to recondition your audience to expect you to sell them relevant, quality products and services. You have to condition them to expect those things. So now that's the mindset. Mark, I saw we had a question and you said you were going to answer, but we'll get in after this question. We're going to get into how to write emails that sound authentic rather than salesy. So Mark, what was that question?
I have two questions actually that people have asked. Well, I don't have any, but they have them. The Michaels have questions, Michael Gurley and Michael Ray.
Okay.
Michael Gurley said, I'm working on getting started on how to do this efficiently. What tools are best?
Yeah, can you put that up on the screen when you ask, just if you're able to? I know you got a lot going on, but it'll help me remember. Let me pull that question up. What tools are best?
There you go.
Oh, and by the way, hey, Susan Martin. Good to see you. All right, cool. I'm working on getting started on how to do this efficiently. What tools are best? It depends on what you mean by this. If it's building an email list, if it's starting in affiliate marketing, I will tell you that all of our tools, we put them on my toolbox page, mattmcwilliams.com/toolbox. And on that toolbox page, I've got all of my favorite tools for pretty much just about anything that we use or recommend for running an online business. We've got stuff for working with your team, to building an email list, to getting started with affiliate marketing, to all kinds of advanced stuff, learning, how to do this stuff. I will tell you that, just so we talk about this when we talk about building a resources page or a toolbox page. We don't use all of the products that we have listed on that page because some of them we've outgrown. There are tools on that resources page I used 4 years ago that I don't use now. There are tools that I list on there that I've actually never used. There's a couple on there I've literally never used. Well, why would I recommend them? Because when I was at the stage that you're at, Michael, these tools didn't even exist. And so the tool that I used 5 years ago isn't the best tool anymore. It might not even exist. They might have gone out of business. So of course I won't recommend that. So there are tools that I might have tested them real quick, but I've never personally used in depth, and we still recommend them on that page. And again, you can find that at mattmcwilliams.com/toolbox. Mark will drop that in the chat there. And you can check out all of our tools, Michael, for just about whatever you would want to do.
The other one?
Yeah.
All right. The other Michael Ray, says, having multiple domain names, does this help with affiliate marketing?
Depends on why you have them. If you're building a personal brand, focus on your one domain. Now we have multiple domains, the affiliateguide.tv, for example, that goes to some of our recommended videos. But ultimately there's no we don't brand it differently. It's when I want to mention our videos, it's easier than saying, go to mattmcwilliams.com/videos or whatever, the affiliateguide.tv. We have, oh gosh, I don't even know some of the other ones that we have that we use for specific things. Like we have one for our first 100 affiliates report, like, how to go find affiliate partners. And I couldn't even tell you the domain because when I want to mention it, I go type it in and look it up. I think it's your first 100 or .com or something. It's not even that. It's something else. It's easier to say that rather than, okay, go to mattmcwilliams.com/first 100. We have that domain. I own a few other domains for some different ideas and some things that I'm working on with my wife, different businesses. Mark, I can't think. We have, domains for our courses, listlaunchacademy.com, listlaunchchallenge.com, noproductnoproblem.com. Gosh, a few others. All in all, I think I own like 18 domains. Now, those are for specific reasons, but as far as what's the one where I do 99.9% of everything, it's mattmcwilliams.com. So if you're building a personal brand, Michael, that's what you want to do, is just really focus on that domain, especially starting out. I will just be perfectly honest. When you're starting out, you can't have multiple domains. We had mattmcwilliams.com, and then I added another one, and then another one. Those took years. You have to focus on one. Please. It's what's the Chinese proverb? Man who chases two chickens gets none. And you ever tried chasing one chicken? It's hard enough, but chasing two. I spent a day on a farm once, so I feel like I'm just a farmer. I basically am the backbone of America right now. Because I spent a whole day on a farm once, and it's like I rode a horse once. I rode a horse once, so I basically know everything there is to know about equestrian events. That's a joke. And but I remember we trying to get this one chicken, and it's hard. You try to chase two, you will never catch one of them. So one domain to start with.
You know what the Chinese also say?
What?
Man who runs in front of car gets tired. Man who runs behind car gets exhausted. Sorry. Hey, can I have a squirrel moment here?
Can you never share Chinese proverb jokes with me again right as I took a sip of water?
It's like that gif of the lady that's taking a drink of milk or whatever, and she spits it all out. Can I share this real quick, Matt? This is cool. If people are like me, and I like being recognized, and I like getting badges and stuff, I just noticed, Matt, I don't know if you saw this, on Facebook Lives, if you share the live now, you get a little badge above your name that says sharer.
Oh, cool.
How cool is that? And by the way, I have it.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited about it.
Even more incentive for you guys to share this with your friends.
Right.
You get badges, which is so cool. I see Gwen's on, and I've got to say this. I'm actually gonna I'm gonna do my first ever story here shortly, provided that I have enough time this afternoon. And part of what I'm gonna share in that is I see some of the comments, and Mark, maybe you could put these up. I saw one from Michael, just said, appreciate you talking to me via looking at the screen face to face. I appreciate it. And then Phil, just talking about, I appreciated Matt for even acknowledging that I was actually on a call with him versus others I paid a lot of money for and never even got a single question answered. We did something yesterday that we've never done before. And one of the things that we've shared repeatedly is this concept of do for one what you wish you could do for many. And yesterday, I'm going to call out Gwen. We found out it was her birthday. And I texted the group, meaning the group being, Mark and Tara. And I just said, hey, is there, are we able to jump on a quick call and wish her a happy birthday? And, we all agreed that we had the time. Mark was eating lunch and I was getting ready to move into something else, but I had like this 10-minute window, and Tara had she was literally walking in the door of the house. So she had a moment. And so we called and we sang happy birthday. We talked to her for just a few moments. And that was something we were able to do for one person that I promise you, we can't do that for, everybody. We just rarely do the 3 of our calendars sync up like that, it just on the move, but they did. And so we called. And the point is that when you can interact with your audience in a way that truly does make them feel special, take those opportunities. Don't pass them up just because you can't do them for everyone. If we can only do that for 5 people a year, it's 5 people a year more than we were able to do it for if we'd done it for none. So don't pass up those opportunities to do something really cool. It's just like the other day, I knew I didn't have time to, I had something I wanted to share with my mom, and I was like, I just don't have time to call her right now. So I shot her a text, and all I said was, I think I said something like, good morning. Hope you have an awesome start to your week, Mom. I love you. That was it, but I know it brought a smile to my mom's face just to see my name pop up on her screen for a moment. And, take those little things, and that's family, friends. Last night I had to work and I didn't get to spend a lot of time with my wife, with Tara. But while I was working, I shot her a text and just, I'm downstairs. I'm literally like 9 feet below her. Her feet are like 5 feet from my head up above. But all I said was, hey, I just want to know I was thinking about you. Like literally, that was the entire context of the text. It took me like 8 seconds, but I know that it made her feel better and it made our marriage just a little bit better. All right. So enough about that. How to write emails that sound authentic rather than salesy. Number 1, it's a big one. Sell the way that you like to be sold. Sell the way that you like to be sold. I know growing up, we had this thing called the golden rule. Some smart guy said it in the red letters, in some book that I read once or twice actually, but and he said, treat others the way you would like to be treated. Treat others the way you would like to be treated. We call that the golden rule. The same holds true with your sales emails, with your affiliate promotion emails. Sell to your audience the way that you would like to be sold to. Okay? Sell to your audience the way that you would like to be sold to. Whether you realize it or not, you will attract people that are similar to you. So use that to your advantage. This way, if you sell the way you like to be sold to, you're going to attract people who are similar to you. And it's going to be easy for you to sell to them. You're not going to have to try. You're not going to have to be somebody that you're not. So don't try to write your affiliate promotion emails or any of your sales emails like I write them. Don't write them like Jeff Walker writes them or Ray Edwards writes them. You'll learn a few things, a few catchphrases or best practices or the way that they, format an email. You might copy that, but write them the way that you write them in your voice. It makes sense, right? With your personality, your style. Okay? Don't try so hard to copy others that it takes away who you are. Because they're selling to their audience like they like to be sold to, and their audience is like them, and that might not be true of you. Now, if it is true of you, certainly learn from that. But the big audience, the big thing here is to sell like you like to be sold to. Sell in a way that you read the email and you don't feel like you're being salesy too much. You don't feel like this was hard for you. Sales emails, while you can learn some best practices and you can struggle to find the perfect word sometimes, and you have to use thesaurus.com to what is that? What's another word that means dream? Let me think about that for a second and let me look that up and see if I can come up with another word. That's okay. But overall messaging should be easy for you because you're selling like you like to be sold to. For number 2, and I want to see, and type in the comments, do you know what swipe copy is? Because I want to know if I need to explain it. And we have a delay on Facebook Live between when I say something and when you type it. But let me know if you know what swipe copy is and if you've ever used swipe copy before as an affiliate. Let me know in the comments so I can kind of, I'll go into a little bit more detail if you guys don't know what swipe copy is. But the second thing that you need to do in order to sell without being salesy is to use swipe copy as a guide. Use swipe copy as a guide. So again, what swipe copy is here? When you're promoting an affiliate offer, you'll be given swipe copy to help you promote that offer. Swipe copy is essentially it's a guide, and that's what it's meant to be. If you're not given swipe copy, well, then consider sharing this live lesson with the product creator, the affiliate manager. It'll help them, if they apply what I share. If they do give you swipe copy, and they should, use the swipe copy as a guide, though. Swipe copy is essentially email copy, social media copy, whatever it may be, that in a sense you could, in theory, copy and paste it. The problem is that copy was written by a copywriter. It was written by the product creator. If you promote our No Product, No Problem course, I probably wrote the swipe copy, or Mark wrote the swipe copy, or a copywriter wrote the swipe copy. We write it in our voice. How I sell to my audience might not be how you sell to your audience. So we have a video coming up. I'm not sure when, but during the Ultimate Guide to Monetizing a Small List this month, about how I use swipe copy. I was just going to walk you through step by step how I use it, how you can use it the right way. So make sure you save that page at mattmcwilliams.com/small. You get those messenger updates at mattmcwilliams.com/UG. And I'll actually walk you through how to use swipe copy. But I'll tell you right now, one of the biggest mistakes that I see affiliates make today is they copy the swipe copy word for word, and they plug it into their, to MailChimp or ConvertKit or Infusionsoft, and they send it. And many times they'll send it without even just taking a quick glance at it. We provide it as a guide, so honestly, we don't proofread it all that well. And if there's a typo, I'm just saying it's something that you probably should have looked at. They copy and paste it word for word. The swipe copy, this is so key. I wish I had put this on a card so I could hold it up. Hey, Mark, you could put it on the screen. Swipe copy is a starting point. It is a place to begin your copy. Swipe copy is a starting point. It is not the end all be all. It will give you some ideas. It will give you a general path to go on with your emails, but it shouldn't be copied and pasted word for word. So I've got an example over here. It's from a promotion that we did for Marisa Murgatroyd. I don't know. This is probably from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm going to read to you the swipe copy. Okay. And then I'm going to read you what we wrote. So it's going to be a little bit long. It's like story time with Uncle Matt here. And, and I'm going to read this to you, but you'll see how kind of what we did with it. We took it, we used it as a guide, as inspiration. Now, Mark, there's an opportunity for them. Make this real easy. If you want to get today's points and copies of these emails so you can see how we used it, Mark, what do they do? We have a fancy way for them to get
so
those.
There's a URL. We're finishing it up because Matt asked me to do this morning.
Yep. I thought of this at the pediatric neurologist.
Right. Yep.
Like,
so there's a URL I'll give you. It's going to take you to Messenger, and it will tag you. And so when we finish it, then we will get it sent to you. And it'll be in the next hour or two. It's not going to take very long. But yeah, so I'm going to drop the URL here in the comments here shortly. And then you'll just click on that and we will get it to you as soon as we finish it. Awesome. And it's going to be, I guess I can tell you what it is too. Let me look here. Yeah. mattmcwilliams.com/selling tips is going to be
mattmcwilliams.com/selling tips. Go there. It'll be ready shortly after, probably about the end of this or so, roughly. And we'll share these emails and all the points, just in case you didn't get great notes. So let me read this here real quick. Storytelling with Uncle Matt. I'm going to like that one, Michael. Yeah. Okay. So here's the swipe copy. She said, today I have a question. If I'm not going to read the whole thing, but you can get the whole thing when, you go to mattmcwilliams.com/selling tips. Think for a moment about your favorite teacher, one that inspired you. Now, again, this is what the swipe copy said. You can probably remember their name and what they looked like, right? I bet you can also remember something that they taught you, something that stands out after all these years. Let's see here. Ooh, lost it. There we go. Okay. And I'm guessing that the way they taught you wasn't like any other teacher. And so this swipe copy goes on about, teachers, right? And then let's see here. Let's skip down and it says, teachers are constantly trying to use experiences in their teaching because they know that the ability to learn better from experience is literally hardwired into the DNA of every human on this planet. Babies don't learn to walk by having their parents sit in front of them and sit them in front of a whiteboard, creating diagrams. I love this image, creating diagrams of the walking process. Can you imagine that? Like, that's such a powerful visual that you would sit your baby, in their soiled diaper or whatever, sitting there going, gaga, and you're writing on a whiteboard how to walk. No, they wobble, they take a step and another and fall on their diaper cushion butts. And then it goes on for a little bit here. Now, here's my version. My version says, got a question for you. Now, let me actually explain something. How we came up with this was Mark, as many of you know, actually does the actual writing of a lot of our copy. Not all, but pretty good. I'd say roughly 75% or so of our copy. What we'll do often, though, is, we'll talk about it and I'll give him a story. I'll give him a lead in. I'll give him my 3 points, things like that.
You'll tell me your favorite dish at Panera.
Yes, my favorite dish at Panera, which is the Southwest chili lime salad, I think is what it's called. It's a Southwest salad. I don't know what it's actually called.
That's something we actually did. That's why I made that point.
Yeah. And he calls me, he says, okay, we've got the swipe. I've got this idea. He says, okay, tell me about your favorite teacher. And I mean, immediately the person came to mind. I gave him some stories about her. And then he said, okay, now tell me about when one of your children learned to walk, or something like that. So here's what we got. So I got a question for you. Think for a moment about your favorite teacher, one that inspired you. You probably remember their name and what they looked like, right? For me, it was Mrs. Trippy, my 11th grade history teacher. Now, just like me, I bet you can also remember something that your teacher taught you, something that stands out after all these years. And I'm guessing that the way they taught it wasn't like any other teacher. So think for a moment about why you remember them. Is it because he or she used hands-on projects where you had to create something? Was it the way that this teacher was able to tell a story and make the information come alive? That's what it was with Mrs. Trippy. She put the story in history. History literally came alive in her class. I felt like I was in the story. She is the reason why I absolutely love biographies even now, which is totally true. And then we skip down and I say, my son Giovanni didn't learn to walk by having me sit him in front of a whiteboard, creating diagrams of the walking process. You can see that part right there was almost an exact quote from the swipe copy. But I said, my son Giovanni. So nothing about that. And the whole thing with the whiteboard and the, that's something I would say. Like that is, that's exactly how I would explain how you don't teach a kid to walk. I said he wobbled, took another step, and then fell on his diaper cushioned butt. Again, something I would say. Then he tried again. Eventually, he transformed into a person that could walk. But it is pretty amazing when you think about it. If you care about creating real transformation and results in your customers' lives, you have to watch this new video from my friend Marisa. And then I actually say pronounced Marisa Murgatroyd, blah, 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 blah. And then I talk about the course. And you can see that we got inspired by the swipe copy. We got inspired by it. And we used it as a guide. But I didn't say, think about your favorite teacher, blah, blah, blah. I said, no, let me tell you about my favorite teacher. That's a personal thing. Mrs. Trippy, my 11th grade history teacher. I can't think of a single other teacher who influenced my life more than her. Blah, blah, blah. So can you tell what I did with the swipe copy there? If that's making sense, again, we got a video coming out here in the next couple of weeks on the ultimate guide to monetizing a small email list. where I'll walk you through, I mean, literally the process for how I do it and what that process is, especially going back to when I wrote all of my own copy. I would go through and I would look at the swipe copy, and then I would get this, and then I would piece this, and I would do this, and I walk you through in that video. The thing is, no one who read it and then read someone else's email would think it was the same email, because it's not. They're not talking about Mrs. Trippy. They're not talking about history. They're not talking about Giovanni, unless their son's named Giovanni, and that would just be really weird. I used the swipe copy as a guide, but then I made it my own by adding personal stories and making it sound like me. So it just so happened that in that example, the whiteboard and the sitting them down, the diaper cushioned butt, those are things I literally would say. That's how I talk, right? And so I could use that. And I saw Gwen's comment. That's awesome. Yeah, I could use, those specific phrases. If it had said something a little bit different, we might have ended up with what we wrote, or, something again that was our voice. So do not copy paste. I want declare in the comments, I will not copy and paste swipe copy ever, 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 ever. What was that? 4 evers. I want all 4 evers, or your comment doesn't count.
Didn't have enough evers memorized.
So I made it sound like me, which leads me to tip number 3 for today. Get clear on your voice. Get clear on your voice. And I meant that when I said your comment. I want to see, I will never copy and paste swipe copy ever, 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 ever. I may have added an extra ever there. 4 is good. 3, you get a B for using 3 evers. All right.
Yeah.
Get clear on your voice, not my voice, not, Tony Robbins' voice or whoever. Get clear on your voice. Here's the thing, whether you love them or hate them, people like Rush Limbaugh, Howard Stern, Glenn Beck, Gary Vaynerchuk, we were talking about him the other day, even Donald Trump, love any of those or hate them, doesn't matter how you feel. They are clear on their voice. For better or for worse, the president, President Trump is not going to back down from his persona. Howard Stern is not going to just suddenly come on the air and just start talking about, lovey-dovey type things and going for long walks on the beach. Gary Vaynerchuk is probably not going to stop using F-bombs on his videos. It's not his brand. It's not his voice. You know exactly what you'll get when you listen to any of them. When you listen to, some of the, like talk show hosts, you're going to get angry ranting about, media bias and stuff like that. What it's not like, you listen to Rush Limbaugh and go, wow, I can't believe the things he's saying. It doesn't surprise you. Just for the record, I don't listen to him because I can't stand him, but that's not the point. I can't stand that style. That's not my style, but he has millions of listeners. You can't argue with that. It's like, it's no different than if you go, what's the guy? Bernie Sanders. I just couldn't think of his name. You're going to be listening to an old guy drone on and on in the most like annoying, like he's a professor basically. You don't like listen to him and expect him to be like, yeah, like, what you're getting when you listen to him, right? So don't act surprised. They are clear on who they're talking to, what their voice is, and how they are going to say whatever it is that they are talking about. Just for the record, I wrote a post once, and I actually have some videos coming out about it soon, about like marketing lessons you can learn from Donald Trump. And just as a side note, the little things that he does that annoy a lot of people, when he says the things like, when he kind of repeats things, that was a joke. Sorry, I couldn't resist. But when he does the thing where I'm trying to think of how he does it, because I can't do a really good imitate. Every time I try to imitate Donald Trump, I sound like a goat who's being squeezed in a place that you shouldn't squeeze a goat. And I don't think you should squeeze a goat.
Jimmy Fallon does a really good Donald Trump impression.
Yeah, but he's like, when he says it's going to be the best, absolute best. It's actually a very effective way of communicating with, and he knows that. Like that's not like a nervous tick for him. He knows it. I mean, you can argue all you want, but he's actually an amazing communicator to the people that he's trying to communicate to. And that's the point. That's the point, is like, it's the reason why he got elected and John McCain never did. John McCain was like trying to speak to everyone. And when you try to speak to everyone, you speak to no one. The thing is, like I said before, you attract people who like the way that you are and the way that you talk and the way that you write. That's who you attract. So if you're funny, be funny in your emails. Again, we're talking about how to sell without being salesy. Okay? How to sell without being salesy. So if you're funny, be funny in your emails. If you're concise and to the point, be brief in your emails. Whoever you are, be that person in your emails. And your selling will seem more authentic and less salesy. So it's why I chose to use the phrase diaper cushioned butt in the email as opposed to not using that, because it fits perfectly with who I am. Stay on brand. So when you read a sales email from me, don't try to write just like I do, but ask yourself, why does this work for Matt? And how can I take the principle and apply it in my own way? If your audience is accountants are very boring people. I know a few of them. I have a great accountant. He's one of the single most boring people on the face of the earth, as far as I know.
He does a great job with your taxes.
Yeah, but he's amazing. I got a call from him the other day, and he asked me a question. He's like, asked me something, and I was like, and I answered him. He's like, "Oh, great, that'll save you about $800 this year." And I'm just like, "That's the best 2 minutes of my day," outside of like family time. I mean, that was just awesome.
Now that the way you described him, I'm feeling. It makes me think that your accountant is like Ben Stein. That's what I'm imagining.
He's a younger former. He was in the Army, so he's very like disciplined. He's a very disciplined, straight-laced Ben Stein with a bald head. You would love him. And I asked him, he's like, I haven't had hair since I was 16. And so my point is, if you're talking to accountants, it's okay to be boring and long-winded, and whatnot. This goes along with getting clear in your voice, but also don't use a sales voice. Some people write their content emails one way. The email where they're saying, "Come to my Facebook Live, read this blog post." They write that one way, and then they write a different way when they're selling. Stop that.
Sunday.
If you read any of my emails, they essentially all sound the same. They all sound exactly the same. They sound like me. That's the key. They sound like me. Now, I don't talk to you one way if I'm telling you to go read a blog post that I just wrote, and then an entirely different way if I'm telling you to enroll in No Product, No Problem, or an affiliate offer that I'm promoting. They're all the same, and yours should be too. So get rid of your sales voice. Get rid of your sales voice. If you struggle with sending emails that don't feel authentic to you, that's the key. If they don't feel like they're coming from you, apply those 3 tips. Apply those 3 tips immediately. And I promise you'll feel better about serving your audience by promoting affiliate offers. That's the key today. You've got to apply these 3 things. And I promise you that you will be able to serve your audience. We said earlier, sell means serve. It's a beautiful way of thinking about selling. The Norwegian word for selling is the same as to serve, apparently. I think it was Phil that reminded me of that. So if you struggle with selling, you struggle with being salesy, remember that sell means serve. Apply what we taught today, and you'll be on your way. Remember to go check out the ultimate guide to monetizing a small email list. I know we've got at least one question that we'll take here in a second, but check that out at mattmcwilliams.com/small, and then mattmcwilliams.com/UG to get those messenger updates for when we release new content in the ultimate guide this month.
Not to be confused with OG.
Not the original gangster. No.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things that I thought of, Matt, when we were talking about using your voice, getting clear in your voice, and then using swipe copy, and Gwen actually kind of mentioned something similar. But it's, when you're doing this, I think some people don't realize that you know, Matt, you throw out a lot of what your English teacher would have said was appropriate or
I don't give a
correct
crap about what my English
because
teacher
that's
would
not
say.
how you talk. You know, that's not how you interact. Now, when I say that, I'm not saying that it's cool to have a bunch of typos and like missing punctuation. That's not what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But I mean, to me, and I do this in my emails, like there are times in my emails where I write the word gonna because I say gonna.
Uh-huh.
You know, you don't say, I'm not going to write going to, because if somebody gets that email, they're like, yeah, he didn't write that.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. And it's those little things that really do make a big difference. You mentioned it. I think this is kind of a unique thing because it's almost like we're using swipe copy inside our own company. But when I'm writing copy for you, there's certain tiny little phrases I use specifically, I specifically use certain phrases and certain words because those are the words you use. And that's the kind of thing that when you're using swipe copy and when you're getting clear in your voice, make sure you do that. You know, if there's a certain way that you always say something, change the swipe copy. Don't use what the swipe copy says if you don't say it that way. And if you would never say it that way.
Yeah.
And, you know, when I'm looking at it, that's kind of what I do. I look at it and I say, could I ever hear Matt saying this? Nope. Matt would never say that. How would Matt say it? And then I change it. So do the same thing when you're reading through swipe copy. Say, you know, well, no, I would never say it that way. Okay, then change it. You know, Gwen said that exact thing. She said, here, let me see if I can pop it up on the screen. If you use contractions when you talk, use them when you write. So many people reveal they're using swipe files by being more formal than they are in real life. And, you know, as people who've created swipe copy for people, Matt, you know, we purposely do that. You kind of make it bland on purpose so that people will then make it their own, so that they will make it sound like them. You know, we're going to write it as, you know, bland as we can so that they can adjust it. So make sure you do those things.
Absolutely. And like I said, we have a video coming out, part of the Ultimate Guide, where I'll walk you through step by step. It's a long process, and I'll be sharing my screen, which I can't do effectively here. So I want you guys to see that video. I think it comes out like either this Thursday or next Thursday. So like I said, just go make sure you get save the page, save the page, get those messenger updates, and we'll tell you when that video is out, because it's it's really cool. You know, just it took me about 4 or 5 years to kind of figure the process out that worked best for me. And, you'll tweak it a little bit, to fit your needs, but I'll walk you through step by step how to use swipe copy.
All right.
Awesome.
So one last thing before we ask the question, Matt,
Yes.
is just a reminder, guys, if you want to get these tips that Matt talked about today, go to mattmcwilliams.com/selling tips. And if you do that, we will send that to you when we finish it. And we'll give you those tips, some of the pointers that Matt, some of the stories, especially the swipe copy that Matt was sharing, so that you can go through and read that and see how those are different between the swipe copy and between what Matt actually sent or what we actually sent. So mattmcwilliams.com/selling tips is the place there. All right. One question, Matt. You ready?
Awesome sauce.
Okay. Michael Ray said, what is the highest paying affiliates?
Meaning what's like the highest paying affiliate program?
That's
no
the
idea.
way I read it.
It's not a question I've ever cared about, because you promote what's best for your audience. That's one of the things. If you go straight for what's the highest paying, because the highest paying might pay you. I mean, I've received some $5,000 commissions on $50,000 offers. The reality is I converted one of those. So, but I've made $20,000 promoting a $300 product by selling a lot more of those. So I don't know that it matters. Certainly within a niche, I will tell you that if there are two products that I believe in equally, and one of them pays, their same price, all that stuff, one of them pays a 50% commission, one of them pays a 10% commission, I'm going to promote the one that pays a 50 more than the 10.
Yep.
And here's the reason, actually. If you're only paying a 10% commission, I kind of wonder about you. What's going on with your company, and what's going on with your personality? Are you guys stingy that you're only willing to pay me 10 when your competition is paying 50?
Yeah.
If the competition's paying 20 and you're paying 10, I'm not as concerned, although that is, half as much. So there's reasons for that, but it has nothing to do with, I'm going to necessarily make more money. Although that in that particular extreme case, that's definitely a reason between two products that are equal. Now, if it's a $99 product that pays 10% and a $2,000 product that pays, 40%, I'll actually promote both, because it benefits my audience to give them options. Here's the beginner version for only $100. Here's the really expensive advanced version for $2,000. And yeah, it might cost me a couple bucks, but I'm serving my audience best way. So that's what matters the most. I mean, that's what matters most.
Well, that's what I was going to say too, Matt, is, when you're talking about serving your audience and recommending things, you mentioned your toolbox earlier. If you guys go there, you'll find that not all of those are affiliate products. Not all of them are affiliate links, because we're recommending what's best for our
Some
audience.
of them pay zero.
Yeah. So, I mean, I agree, Matt. And I think that's a great point. Just your first and foremost worry is serving your audience and giving them the best product. And then after that, if it's apples to apples, then you pick the one that pays more, obviously. But, and that first and foremost is serving. But I mean, Matt, can we say that, typical for information products is 40%? I mean, that's fairly normal.
Yeah.
Anything that's high touch, like in-person events, coaching, those types of things, typically 10% or so. Yeah. So that's where you're going to be. Sometimes you'll get more, sometimes you'll get less. I mean, we did a promotion recently where we gave 100% commission on a certain product, and then less later, because that was a loss leader.
And retail products, retail products are going to be low as well. Yeah. I just realized my laptop doesn't have a power source right now for some reason, and I'm going to go dead in just a moment. So we're going to wrap up. It's a great excuse for ending, because otherwise I'm going to end like just, I see, hey, by the way, I see a file or feel, I'm not sure, from Luxembourg. Hello, or Luxembourg. Welcome. So glad you're here. Make sure, I think if you're just got here, make sure you go back and watch the replay of this. We talked about how to write sales emails that don't feel salesy, how to stay authentic to your voice. So go read that. Like I said, I've got to jump off. I got 6% left, and that's not going to last very long. And I apologize, guys. Just thought I had my charger in, and well, I did. It's just not.
Rookie mistake.
I think the plug's not working, I think is what it is.
Weird.
So go check out the Ultimate Guide. Mark just dropped the link, mattmcwilliams.com/small. Get those messenger updates, so you get updates throughout the month. We've got at least another 6 or 7 or 8 pieces of content in the Ultimate Guide to monetizing a small email list. And Eric, is there something I can do to help them set up or convince them to start an affiliate program? I've got tons of content on that. And I would love to share that, but I don't know the URL. So here's what I'll say. Eric, email me or Mark, Matt or Mark at mattmcwilliams.com. One of us will get you the link to that piece of content. And then to all of you, thank you for being here. This was fun. You mentioned one other resource, and that's the Secrets of Successful Selling promotion that's going on right now. Go check that out at mattmcwilliams.com/entrepreneur type, and you can take their assessment to find out what type of entrepreneur you are. Or go watch the Facebook Live I did with Mark Tim last Friday, and you can learn more about that. Go take that. You'll get into their ecosystem. They'll send you this video series that Phil on here has been raving about. It's just an awesome, awesome training with Kevin Harrington, the original shark from Shark Tank, based on Zig Ziglar's teaching. And my friend Mark Tim, who's business partners with Kevin, is a part of that. And so we're down to 3. This is like a countdown. We're down to 3% battery power. So we've got to wrap up. So with that, guys, have an amazing rest of the week. Keep checking out the Ultimate Guide. We'll be back. We'll be off next Tuesday, but we'll be on next Friday at 2 p.m. Mark?
2 p.m.
2 p.m.
Eastern.
Next Friday, we're going to be back with another Facebook Live. And, oh man, we're going to have some cool stuff. Check out my Facebook stories this week as well. And we'll see you soon. Take care, guys.
See you guys.